What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jada.
I'm her co-host, Wendi.
And we are the SwiceyChix. Welcome back. Welcome back. How was your week so far?
Okay. This week, for whatever reason, I spoke it into existence last Sunday that it was going to go by really quickly. I'm like, this week can go by real quick. Because some weeks really drag for me. Like, especially Monday, I can feel it if it's going to drag on Monday. It seemed like it takes forever to get to Wednesday. Then it's Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. But this week seemed to go by really, really fast. And I don't know if it's because we were speaking about Papa Do's, whatever. And I had it. I wrote it down on my calendar.
Couldn't wait for Papa Do's.
So I had to look forward to something every single day or whatever. But this week was really, really chill. I started with a new trainer this week. So it was different. It was good. It was good. So he's challenging my body in different ways. So I feel like I'm like really sore from the training. And I had gotten to a point where I was no longer getting sore from training, but now it's like, dang, I'm back getting sore again, but it's sore in a good way. And I feel like I'll be able to kind of like sculpt my body out the way I want to with this new trainer. He is going to put me on a new meal plan. So I'm kind of but I'm looking forward to it. It was good. And then yesterday was lit.
It was fun yesterday.
For a 4-day weekend parking lot concert. So
that was very fun.
It was.
That was my very first parking lot concert.
Mine too.
I didn't know really how it was going to go, but I was pleasantly surprised. Like, you didn't have to worry about people hovering over you. Everybody kind of just
did their own thing.
Whatever clique they came with, and it was just all love. It was kind of like a big old family reunion, I felt like, with music and artists. It was really nice. So I'll be looking forward to maybe going to another one.
I know. I can't wait till the next one. Well, the next one's on the 17th. I won't be here, but I'm looking forward to going to another one because it was really good.
Yeah, especially ones like maybe with some more popping artists. Because this was kind of for like 90s rap, early 2000s Atlanta artists. So if they had something like, like Lil Baby, or like you said, they had one for 2 Chainz one time, that would be really dope and fun. That would be super fun. My week this week has been really easy last week was really easy. It went by fast for me too. But that's primarily because I took half a day for most of the days. So I work to like 1-ish every day of the week because it's leading up to my birthday. By the time everyone watches this episode, my birthday would have, it actually premieres on my birthday on the 6th, which is Tuesday. So by the time you guys see it, it'll be on my actual birthday. But yeah, all the week prior, I took half a days, so I didn't want to be at work, and I wanted to enjoy the sun. But just my luck, it was freezing cold all week. It was like 30 degrees.
Yeah, the weather played us this week.
It was so weird. It was like 70 one day, and then all of a sudden, boom, it rained, like torrential rain, and then it was like 30-degree weather for the next couple of days. So it was really cold, but it was still pretty though. It was sunny. So I enjoyed like my happy days, going to a hookah spot and, just running.
So it was off.
Yes. If I'm going to be off, I'm going to really be off. I did run some errands. I was responsible for a little bit of the days, but the majority of the time, I was just doing what I really wanted to do, which is like go to the nail shop early for a change.
Right.
Which is that's a major thing. If you can get to the nail shop like on a Wednesday at 11
during
o'clock,
the day.
It makes a world of a difference.
It does.
Even like going to get your lashes done early in the day, because I'm normally on a Saturday early in the morning, which still can be hectic because every woman in Atlanta feels like they're getting their lashes done.
Or after work. It's the worst.
It is. It's like a hustle and bustle. So that was so relaxing. I was like, gosh, is this what housewives feel like? This is what their life feels like during the day. Like they can wake up, naturally without an alarm and stuff, and plan their day according to how they feel. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Just go with the wind.
Just go with the wind.
Today I'll do this, and I'll get here when I get here, and I have
or
to worry
they
about
can
the crowd.
spread it out. They don't have to be like, on Monday I have to do this. They have a whole week to really spread it out. They have nothing to do. Sounds like a wonderful life. One day maybe. But then I thought, like, could I really be a housewife? Because I would get bored eventually, I think.
I could if I had my own business. Like if I'm running my own business, I could do that.
Yeah, do some fundraising or philanthropic work, or like, I don't know, do some humanitarian work. I don't know. That would be me. I could still see me doing that. Like, save the world, save the dolphins, and
What?
I would save I'm always for saving the children, so save the inner city youth.
Okay, go rescue them damn water boys then. Make that your next project. Because they need help. They need a job.
Yeah. She's speaking about, so in Atlanta, we have this thing where we have the inner city youth. They're like boys that live within the city, like in the city of Atlanta. And they've taken upon themselves to sell water on the side of the road and at the exit of the highways and intersections all throughout the city. And they, like, right before the pandemic, they had got really aggressive. Like, do you remember the whole news report about them, like, really walking up on cars? Like, when they first began, I kind of remember they would be like, hey, would you like some water? Mm-hmm. Hey, $1 for a water bottle. But then they like, what's up, Charlotte? Hey, roll your window down. It's like, whoa.
The water boys are overly aggressive at this point. They come up to your car. I mean, and the last time I seen the water boys, I was on Northside Drive, and they're like throwing water back and forth. Okay. Sometimes they hit people's cars. Now, they come up to your car now, water, Gatorade. Hey, fuck with me, big bro. I got this water for sale now. Come on, fuck with me, bro. Okay, I'm like, all right, now y'all really tripping. But the road boys are really out of control. And I think they're trying to do something with them now. Like, he should start some kind of initiative now to get them in jobs and programs, stuff like that, because they need something else to do. Save them water boys for real.
Because they're like 12. You know what? They might be younger than 12. Like 10 to what? 16, 17?
Yeah, teenagers.
So just imagine 10 to 17-year-old little boys running up to your car, aggressively trying to sell you water bottles.
And that's the longest red light ever. I swear to God, that's the longest red light. When you at a red light with a water boy, or sometimes even a homeless person, I swear to God, that is the longest red light, because you just be like, I can't wait for this light to turn green.
And then you don't want to look like the asshole and be like, you know, you don't want to be that person. Sometimes, you know, when you're a woman out here in these streets and it might be late, even in the daytime, you got to be careful in the daytime too. And someone is walking a little bit too close to your car. I mean, nowadays, especially here in Atlanta, I don't take any chances. It doesn't matter what you look like. You could be a woman walking too close to my car. I'm going to hit that lock real quick if it's not already locked. Or if my window is down, I'm going to scroll it up just a little bit, because I'm not sure what you guys are out here doing. So yeah, that was my week. I enjoyed my time off. My birthday's on Tuesday, like I said. So tomorrow, Monday, I will have another half a day.
But what are we doing on Tuesday, though?
I don't know, because, okay, so here's the dilemma. I really didn't make any plans for my birthday because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I just waited till last minute, which is typically not what I do. So then we found out all of a sudden that our part-time job is back on, which is working for the Atlanta Braves. All of a sudden, we have work to do again. So lo and behold, guess what day is the first day that we're supposed to be working?
They want to do a dry run on Tuesday.
On my birthday. So I have to make a decision. Now, it's not mandatory. It is voluntary, but you still get paid. So I'm trying to, weigh my options. Do I want to get paid on my birthday? Double, because I'll be getting paid for my real job and this part-time, or do I want to just enjoy the day and not make a little extra money? I mean, it's always fun working there, though. That'll be the benefit. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're really going to be doing anything. Mm-hmm. Like, it's only 33% of the fans, and I don't even think 33% is going to come on the dry run. Yeah. So we'll really just be
at work, talking
chilling,
shit.
Yeah, and enjoying the weather and looking at people. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll make a decision at Papados today, because we're going to Papados after this. I'm so excited, because I'm such a foodie. Okay, so let's get into these topics. So, by the time this episode airs, everyone would have probably had their discussions about Quavo and Saweetie and the altercation that occurred in the elevator, which, surprisingly just took me down memory lane with Solange, Jay-Z, and Beyonce. Mm-hmm. Kind of reminded me of that situation. And a little bit about, my favorites, Chris Brown and Rihanna. So that would have already transpired. Everyone has been talking about it on the blogs and on YouTube videos and influencers. Everybody has their opinion about it. So Wendi did send me like a screenshot of a post or article or something like that. So I'll let her introduce that, and then we'll just jump right on into this.
So it was on the Shade Room, just a little video of their little elevator altercation. And I don't know what the situation was. There was no real audio or nothing like that, but you just kind of saw them get into like this little scuffle.
Right.
It looked like they was kind of scuffling over like a bag or whatever it was. Somebody gonna say, "Oh yeah, he wanted that Birkin back." Don't know if that. You know, niggas being in the comments acting real crazy,
right?
Saying some wild shit, but he kind of looked like he like pushed her into the wall, like pushed her down, whatever the case may be. But where he realized he fucked up at, he looked at the damn camera and it's like, oh yeah, there is the camera in the elevator.
I saw that part.
But you know, the comments were just kind of all over the place. Some people were like, yeah, you know, you just never know what's going on behind closed doors or whatever the case may be. And some girl was like, well, he didn't even really hit her. Y'all making a big deal out of nothing. But it's like, whether he hit her or not, is that the treatment that you would want from a man in any capacity? Because just because he didn't hit her that time don't mean he hasn't hit her or he wouldn't have or whatever the case may have been. But it's like, they were a couple that people kind of idolized and were like, oh, they're goals and he treats her so good and he does this and he does that. But then you have that situation that happened. So it's like, no, they're not goals. And for me, there are a lot of people that are in relationships. You are your own goals and couples' goals. And sometimes your parents might be goals. Your grandparents might be goals. Like I have parents celebrating over 30 years of marriage. I have grandparents celebrating over 60 years of marriage. That is goals to me.
Right.
You know, somebody that's been in a relationship for a long period of time. They've been in a marriage your entire life. And it's like, we don't look up to those people naturally as goals. Yeah, we look at these celebrities because that's what you see on Instagram. That's what the world is showing you. So you think that's goals when it's really not. So it just kind of sparked, you know, my thoughts about that ain't really goals. But it's always some stuff going on with these couples. You see all this materialistic stuff. Oh, they buying her car. He bought her this, he bought her that. And there be some wild shit going on behind closed doors.
Well, it's so many. It's a lot that I want to say about this. I don't even know where to begin. First, I agree with you. The whole relationship goals culture that we're in, I think it's getting out of control. And for the main reason, like you said, we don't really know what's going on in these people's relationships behind closed doors. You know, Instagram, you know, blogs and photos can create a different scenario. We all know that photos are not necessarily what truth is. Quavo and Sweetie, a lot of us were, and I remember just reading posts and things like that. A lot of people were like, he's so sweet to her. He treats her like a queen. He's always there with her. He's always supportive, which it did look like that. Yeah. If you were just looking through their Instagram and different pictures and stuff, he was always there, always around. They seemed to be okay. But then all of a sudden, boom, this elevator footage appears. I only watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole video. And I did see, it looked like she swung at him, and I'm not sure, so this is just my assumption. I didn't watch everything, but it looked like she swung at him. He tried to prevent her from swinging at him, and in the midst of him doing that, he pretty much uked her ass or slung her ass back into the elevator, like tussled with her to get her back into the elevator. And then the part that was really disturbing to me, aside from him slinging her in there, was how long she stayed on the floor, on the ground. So I don't know if like she like twisted her ankle or hurt her wrist, or I don't know, something apparently was injured on her because she stayed on the ground for a while. And I remember when a part of the video showed him go to the elevator door to hold the elevator door, and I guess he was telling her to get up, and it took her a while to get up. So that was kind of disturbing. I was like, okay, she's seriously hurt. But I don't know. I feel so torn with stuff like this because on one end, of course, as a woman, I'm like, you know, physical violence is absolutely a deal breaker for me. But ladies, at the same time, y'all got to stop putting your hands.
Yeah, that part's not okay either.
On men. You got to stop putting your hands on men. You got to stop raising your hands to a man because every man is not respectful enough to stop you and push you back. There are some men out here who's going to swing back. There are some men out here who don't have enough stopping sense, as I like to call it, to restrain themselves from having that natural reaction. So, and this is speaking from a woman who, I have a very spicy tongue. I really can get out of pocket with things that I say when I'm really angry with somebody. which is not a good trait. I'm really working on it. The Lord is working on me. But I'm just speaking my truth. Like, I know I have had instances in my younger days, like high school and stuff, where I probably said some crazy shit to a dude. Specifically, like, I learned really quickly that calling a man a bitch ass is really not a good look for a woman, because you could get the fire slapped out of you or anything if you call a man a bitch. So we gotta do better with that. Like, I don't want to take this opportunity just to be like, cancel Quavo because he slung Sweetie in the elevator. Like, I'm not going to do that because we don't really know. None of us were there. We don't really know. We all know women have a tendency to do too fucking much sometimes when we're angry. Not that it's an excuse for him to put his hands on her, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a cause and effect type situation.
Yeah. We gotta be honest about it. Do I think this is the first time that happened? I think that has happened before. I don't think for him to be that comfortable doing that would have been his first time. So I think they probably had a relationship where they probably both were, real spicy and just, go too far sometimes in arguments. I did see some comments on the Shade Room on that post that were kind of disturbing. There were it was a lot of women that were like, we have to stop normalizing violence in relationships. And I was like, I didn't know that was normalized. Like, when did that become a normal thing? Is that the idea that's circulating that I wasn't aware of? Like, when did that become normal?
Yeah, I was not aware that that's a normal thing. Like, most people always talk about, we have to stop normalizing love that comes with hurt and things like that. But I've never heard that one about normalizing. We have to normalize, stop normalizing violence in a relationship. That ain't part of it.
I don't really relate to that. But I was just reading, like I said, I was reading through the comments and so many men were saying, yeah, every now and then, you get in an argument and you might walk up on your dude or your dude might walk up on you and might shove you. I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't know that was a thing, but...
And see, people do get close and there are boundaries. There are boundaries in arguments that people have to respect. Because if you're arguing with somebody, you kind of walk up on them, that can be triggering for somebody. Absolutely. You have to say what you're saying from over there.
Yeah.
Don't walk up on me. Yeah, give somebody that said, because if you walking up on me, you're now posing a threat. And you have to accept the consequences that may come after that. Because a person can't swing on you, touch you, push you if you're not in their personal space.
Right.
And people always want to get mad. Oh, well, you pushed me or you did this, but you walked up on me. So you were the aggressor in that moment. So you have to take ownership for your part of it. Everything has an effect.
It does.
You can't throw rocks at the dog and get mad at the dog bit you. Right. Don't get mad at the damn dog. You threw rocks at the damn dog.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to take your part of how a situation escalated to a certain part.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer on that. That just makes me, this is just a sidebar. This is one of them popcorn moments, you guys. That reminds me of the franchise Housewives. It was, you don't watch the Housewives like I do, but for the people that do, there was a season, this past season for the Housewives of Potomac, which is the one I really liked. It was like the upper echelon Black women. Like, they were just so much more classier than the other housewives. But anyway, it was a situation between two housewives on that season where it was one girl that always was talking cash shit, like all the time. Her name was Candace. Like, her mouth was always, and she was a short little thing, but it'd always be the little ones that got all that fire behind them. So she was always talking cash shit to this one girl. One of the other girls kind of got fed up with it. Like, she was taking it for the most part, but one day, I guess, she just reached her boiling point. And Candace, the one that was always doing this, said the wrong thing to her. And old girl retaliated and grabbed her and drug her across the table and was like bashing her head into a table. Damn. And so it went crazy on social media. Like, first of all, Bravo and the Housewives franchise shouldn't be condoning violence, But the big controversy was, well, Bravo allowed this one cast member to continuously antagonize this other cast member for seasons after seasons and episode after episode. At what point do you expect somebody to just keep taking somebody, like, antagonizing them? And I think a lot of times when I see like fights and arguments and just different things on social media that happen, even in relationships, like, because we're gonna dig deep into relationships and toxic behaviors and things like that. But at some point, I'm a big person on accountability, but it just really irritates me when I see situations transpire where no one takes into consideration why a person responded the way they responded. So no one remembers everything that led up to the person responding crazy. But the only thing people remember is just the crazy.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't just keep pushing and poking at somebody and expect them to just continue to just be like, okay, I'm going to turn the other cheek. I mean, it's so many years. You only got two cheeks.
You only got two cheeks.
You only got two cheeks.
People always look at your reaction. And they always figure, oh, well, you always overreacting, or you did this, or you did that. And it's like, no, there's a reason why I feel this way, or there's a reason why I'm reacting a certain way. So let's back up. I always think of the domino effect.
Yeah.
Something caused the dominoes to fall. And it's that first one that got tipped, and the rest of them fall over. So don't look at the end result of what happened. You got to go back to the starting point and look at how we got here. There's a series of situations or things that allowed us to get here. You got to always go back to the very, very beginning. I hate when people pick up a story in the middle, or the end. No, let's back up to the beginning and let's go back to why we even got here and start.
Yes.
And as far as analogies are concerned, you was talking about, you know, the girl who always had all this mouth and shit like that. And it's like, there's always a straw that breaks the camel's back.
Always.
But the thing about that is you don't know what straw it's going to be.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you build up all this tolerance and stuff for somebody or something, it could be the smallest thing, but that's going to be the one. That's the day. That's the day that breaks. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And it could be something small. You might think like, oh, damn, this is a small instance. I don't know why you. It's because I've been tolerating so many other straws.
So many other things, right?
I've been tolerating so much other things that this thing, no matter how little it is, it's over. Today is the very last day I tolerate
can't take no more.
Yeah, I can't take no more.
Like it's done. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. So that kind of leads into what I wanted to kind of define and explain or kind of dive deep into, and that's just the word toxic. That's just a big word now that's floating around. It's a word that's used
and overused.
Yeah, I think it is overused. So I wanted to kind of first like really figure out, are we using the right word to describe a lot of things?
You know, when black people, not even just black people, when people get stuck on a word, we tend to overuse it.
Yeah.
And toxic is one of them words that's floating around and people like to overuse it.
Just at any moment, anytime somebody has a reaction, anytime somebody acts outside of how you want them to act, anytime somebody is doing anything outside the norm, oh, they're toxic, or oh, they have toxic masculinity, or toxic feminine. It's just so...
Everything ain't toxic. There are other things we can call people outside of
like
toxic.
You can't
toxic
even
is a strong word.
It's so strong.
When you call somebody toxic or say something is toxic, it is just poisonous at its core. Like you go and wreak havoc everywhere that you go, and you sow that energy everywhere that you go.
It's funny you use that word because according to Webster. Okay, so the word toxic means acting. Well, it's an adjective. It means acting or having the effect of a poisonous behavior. Mm-hmm. It's funny you said the word poison, right? Or causing unpleasant feelings or causing unpleasant feelings or harmful or malicious feelings to others or loved ones.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking when I hear the word toxic all the time, especially when I hear it in relationships. Now that I know the true definition, poisonous, malicious, unpleasant. Okay, you might have a lot of unpleasant feelings in a relationship when you're arguing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that argument is toxic or you're a toxic person because you argue in your relationship. Keyword was poisonous, malicious. Mm-hmm. Every time you argue with your partner, I hope it would not be for malicious intent.
Right.
Typically when you argue in a relationship is to get a point across. Sometimes, like for me in my relationship, I'm always defending myself because I'm always misunderstood. So you're either defending yourself or, like I said, you're just trying to state a point. That does not necessarily mean you're a toxic person. So I think we got to be careful with kind of loosely throwing that word around, especially when you're describing relationships, and not even just romantic relationships.
Yeah, it's an insult.
Just relationships, period. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's a word we got to be careful with. Toxic.
Yeah. I kind of looked up some, and we use it as we're talking about people, and sometimes environments can be toxic. But like you said, as it pertains to people or environments, it includes causing unpleasant feelings, harmful or malicious, unacceptable. So this person's behavior just adds negativity and upset to your life. Mm-hmm. And see, this comes toxic people look like everybody.
It does.
They look like me. They look like you.
Yeah.
They talk like everybody else. And they can be hiding in your friendship groups, your relationships, and in your romantic relationships. Sometimes your friends...
I'm glad you said that.
Romantic partners, relatives can be toxic, and it's very hard. Sometimes we overlook those people because we care so much. You don't want to feel like they have toxic behaviors.
Of course, you overlook a lot when it's your family, and
people that you love and care about.
The people that you love, and it's sad because you're the most vulnerable with those people, so they have the ability to hurt you the most. And it's sad that it's a catch-22 when it comes to that. One of the things I wanted to kind of define what toxic behavior would look like in a relationship. Okay. And so according to like Health Magazine and Women's Magazine, some of the behaviors that would trigger or make you realize, hey, I might be exhibiting some kind of toxic behaviors would be not supporting your partner at all. And that means financial support, emotional support, or just being there for them to support any idea or goal or anything they might have. That makes sense to me. That would be a little toxic to me. You don't want to support anything that I do. Like, that means you're not there for me. Like, you don't care about my well-being. In my mind, like that's how I would internalize that.
I got one.
Okay.
Manipulation.
Girl,
manipulative people are very good at purposefully confusing other people and making you feel a certain thing for their own intent.
Okay.
So they always have an ulterior motive behind why they're doing something.
Yeah. Okay.
So they purposely manipulate people. And that, I think, is a toxic trait. I think manipulation, unless it's strategic, like whether it's, I can't even say in sports and shit, 'cause people cheat in sports and stuff like that. But anytime somebody purposefully uses manipulation for personal gain, that is a toxic behavior.
And that's exhibited a lot in relationships, I think, in romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Because it's like a thin line, because you can manipulate your partner. I think you can have the ability to manipulate your partner to do things that could be beneficial to them. But I don't know if manipulate is the right word, because you could kind of coax them or persuade them into doing something. But if it's for their benefit, I don't see that being harmful or wrong.
It's not a malicious intent.
Right. So I don't know. Malicious intent. I would need like a really good example of like what would. I wonder if I've been manipulated.
I'm sure everybody's been manipulated at some point. Yeah.
This is a good one here. Which, I scratched my head a little bit. Toxic communication in relationships would be described as excessive sarcasm, excessive criticism, or overt hostility when communicating with your partner. I would agree, except with the exception of sarcasm, because I can be quite sarcastic, but I'm not doing it to harm you. Like, that's just my comedy relief. Like, that's just how I joke. But if someone is like overt hostility, I could definitely see that. You don't want anybody talking hostile to you, like when you're angry. And, sometimes men have a tendency when they're angry and they're trying to get a point across, if they're an alpha male, they have a tendency to be, I think, can be a little past the aggressive. Like we're way past aggressive. We're like all the way past it. So we're like in hostility. And I think alpha men do that because they're so confident and a little bit arrogant, and they feel like they're powerful. So sometimes the way they come over gives off a little hostile behavior to me. And controlling behavior, which is another characteristic of toxic behavior, controlling, which I think is seen a lot in relationships. That's something I hear men and women both complain about, being controlled. One that I found that was really interesting was resentment. Having resentment in relationships, like holding on to grudges or not being able to forgive. And see, a lot of times people don't realize forgiveness is not necessarily for the other person.
Yeah, it's for you. And I teeter the line with that one because I do think that forgiveness should be granted once we address the situation. You can't really forgive somebody for something that they did. I mean, you can, but you've got to address what happened. We can't just sweep it under the rug and just expect to be forgiven because like that might enable you to continue to do that same thing again to me.
Yeah.
I need you to really understand what it was that you did, why it may have affected me or whatever the case may be, for us to really move forward. If you don't really understand, then you might do it again. I'm going to get triggered again or whatever the case.
Triggered is another word that we've been using a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Triggered. Everybody's triggered. Janae Aiko is triggered. She's triggered because of this. I'm triggered. Damn.
And I never used to use that word until recently. And I guess I've been triggered for years because it's little things that will set me off for certain things. But I never use that word. Like, I think it's used loosely as well. But now that we've like identified some toxic behaviors, now in hindsight, I'm thinking back to their relationship, Sweetie and Quavo. Like, did I see... just from a fan's perspective, did I see any of those traits? And I didn't see any of them. Like none. That's what's so crazy about worshiping or having couple goals for people that you don't know. Like none of these behaviors that would allude to him being a toxic person or her being a toxic person, their relationship being toxic. None of these behaviors were exhibited from a fan's perspective, outside looking in. So like. It's crazy. Like you just should not idolize other people and their relationships and what they do. We don't know. The most that I would say, I always look at couples and say, oh, they look cute together. Yeah. Or I'll say something like, I like their vibe together when they are together. I like their vibe. But that's as far as I go. Like I don't ever be like, oh, I wish I could have a guy like Quavo. Oh, I wish I never.
Because you don't know that to be true.
Yeah, you just don't know.
We know what we see. It's somebody's birthday, Moneybag Yo goes and buys Ari's G-Wagon or whatever the case may be. You see little things like that. We don't actually know what type of person that man is in a relationship to her. Because we see what we see on Instagram. We see quick snippets. We see videos. You see what they might have purchased each other. Oh, they're on a red carpet together. Or, oh, they're on vacation together. Yep. But you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And it's like there's a list of what they felt like were toxic behaviors. So they're skilled liars and great actors. They're abusive. They can be unsupportive, unhealthy emotionally. Somebody that brings you down more than up. When they leave you, or they leave you feeling drained and wiped out. They're drama creators. They exert power on others in harmful ways. They disregard boundaries. This one says toxic people never apologize. Now, the reality is, in the moment, people might not feel that they are ready to apologize. However, after the argument is said and done, maybe days later, you come back to a conversation with an open mind, your energy is calmed down, you're not so angry. If that person really still can't see where you're coming from and can't apologize, then maybe they are toxic. Because in the middle of an argument, it's very hard to apologize. It's very hard to maybe see another person's perspective or where they may have had you fucked up at. Yeah. But after some days go by, and after we can come back to the table and have a conversation about what happened and how you made me feel in that moment, how I may have made you feel, and you still really can't understand, then maybe I'm thinking you ain't all there, or maybe you're not wired to have the empathy or have the emotion that you should.
I'm glad you said that. I would agree, because I think I'm that way. It takes me, I'm definitely a forgiving person, and I have the ability with no problem, like, to just apologize if I'm wrong. But I don't like when people try to force me to do it. Like, let me do it in the time frame that I need to do it, because I need to, like, number one, self-reflect. I'm a huge self-reflector, so I want to go back and think about what I did, why I reacted that way, how I could have done it better, how I made you feel, why did I want to make you feel that way? Like, I'm going through all of that in my mind, if I'm the person, if I was the culprit of whatever has happened in this argument. So give me some time to do all that reflecting alone, and then I'll come back to you and say, you know what? I realized that I did da 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 da. I could have done da 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 da. And I apologize. I hope you accept my apology. Blah blah blah. But don't, like, I hate when people try to, like, this happened on Tuesday. Today is Thursday. I still don't have no apology. Well, I might not be done with my self-reflection yet. So just wait.
It's not to say an apology has to happen 6 months down the line. Like, please don't take that long to apologize for something that you have done. Yeah. But everybody sometimes has to apologize in their own time. And for some people, it's faster than others. Yeah. Some people can apologize in the moment. And some people, they might kind of get over things faster than others. They have toxic people don't listen. they invalidate your feelings. And in the moment, that can be hard. Because again, it goes back to what I said. In an argument, it's very hard to validate another person's feelings. Yes. Because if we're arguing, I'm mad about something and you mad about something. Yes. And I need you to understand why I'm mad and you trying to get me to understand why you mad.
Right.
So I might not see where you coming from right now because you got a point and I got a point and right now they're colliding.
Yeah.
So again, you might have to take a little bit of time to go back to the drawing board for me to see. I might need a little bit of time to put myself in your shoes and try to see where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard to see a situation in another person's lens from behind their eyes.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Very, very difficult.
What else did I have on here?
Those are good ones.
They can't stand the idea of you being better than them or the spotlights being on you and they can't be happy for you. A lot of times, that does happen in relationships, but I see this a lot of times in friendships where friends be fake happy for people. Okay. If it's not their moment, they like fake happy for you. Okay. So let's say you got engaged. Well, girl, congratulations, but I really don't feel like that. Okay. You can really sense genuine happiness from people. Okay. Whether they started a business, whether they were the first person to be a millionaire. Some people really aren't always happy. I see it a lot of times in friendships. I don't really see it too much in relationships, but I do know that it does exist and it does happen. But I see it a lot in friendships where it's not your friend's moment or it's not their season. It's your season. It might have been your season to get a Benz. Maybe mine's is not till next year or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to be happy for you in your moment. Because if I'm not, I may never have my moment. And the universe or God is not going to give me those moments because he saw how nasty I was when it was your season. Yep. But I think that everybody has been toxic at some point in their life. I think so too. I know I have been. I've been in situations that were toxic for me. I've been around people that were toxic for me. And I've been toxic to other people. And that's just a part of growing. Like over time, you realize like, dang, I was very toxic at that point in my life. And some of us still carry toxic traits. That's a part of still growing and becoming a better person. Because I could be like, well, this was an area that I was toxic in and I've outgrown that. But maybe this is an area of work that I have to work on now. Yeah. And then I hate when people call somebody toxic. Maybe I am toxic to you, but I can go
and be totally different
to another person. Yes. So maybe our vibe just didn't blend and you just really felt, and this created a toxic environment. But that doesn't mean that this person is toxic. So I always tell people, you gotta be careful who you listen to things about people from. So let's say somebody comes and tells me all this shit about you. I have to be careful who I listen to that from because I could be hearing it from a hater. Yep. So I take it and listen, balled up in the very back of my mind. Right. But I have to allow myself to make my own perception of who you are. Yeah. And be very careful who you hear that shit from. So and I tell people, whatever you heard about me, believe it. Believe all of it if that's what you want to do. Right. Because at some point, if she say, oh, well, she a bitch or she this or she that, I might have been a bitch in that moment. I probably was, or I could have been a bitch at that moment in time. Yeah. But somebody might tell you, oh, she's a good friend. Oh, believe that too, because I probably am a good friend to this person or whatever. Okay, I act accordingly to who I need to be. Yeah. In different situations, they require different parts of you. I would agree. Sometimes people pull out different pieces of you. Sometimes people take you there. Yes. So that person might have called me a bitch because I probably was a bitch to you. And you probably deserve that shit. Right, exactly. But to this person, I probably was really good or whatever the case may be. So
I would definitely, I wholeheartedly agree with that. That whole spiel you just did, because that's me in a nutshell. I can be so layered as a person. One moment I can be, and this is going to make me sound crazy, but it is what it is. One moment I can be the sweetest thing, and then depending on who you are and just our relationship and our energy, the very next person right behind you, I could just be nasty too. But it has nothing to do with me just being a toxic person. I'm just layered. I'm a layered person, and I really vibe off of energy. I really vibe off of aura, and I have a tendency to. Now, this is one thing. This might be one of my really prevalent toxic behaviors. I have a bad habit of, if you rub me the wrong way one time, it's so difficult for me to move past that and give you another opportunity. And I think it's because I always try to present myself as the best foot forward the first time anybody meets me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if you're ever going to have a chance to meet me again. So I'm going to try to give you the best part of Jada at that moment that I can give you. So I feel like, why wouldn't you do the same for me? You know what I'm saying?
First perceptions are everything.
They're everything. Yeah, a lot of times, so if you rub me the wrong way the very first time you meet me,
I'm very hesitant to fool with you a second time.
Okay, that's that's odd. Like, I got to keep an eye on you. Like, I'm not going to mistreat you because I'm just not that type of person. I'm not going to be ugly to you. I'm not going to treat you or outcast you or anything like that. But I'm damn sure going to remember how we interacted that first time and always keep like that in the back of my mind. Like, I don't know about her or I don't know about him.
Yeah.
That's depth. So I don't know if that's toxic or not, but I have a hard time bouncing back when people rub me the wrong way. So I would say, yeah. And I agree with you. I probably have been toxic in certain relationships, and then in others I was not. And I would so hardly pinpoint that on the person I was with at the time. So I would agree. Certain people bring out certain things in you. So I think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with you. We got to be careful with that word toxic. Stop throwing it around so loosely.
People can have toxic behaviors or
that is
instead of labeling somebody overall toxic because it is an insult. Maybe say that was toxic or what you're doing or that what you're doing is toxic. But to overall label somebody as toxic, a lot of times. I mean, and there are some people that are just completely toxic. I mean, just from head to toe, you're just creating drama, stirring up. You just exude toxic energy and stuff like that. But I don't think it's fair to, especially in arguments and relationships, just to throw around and calling somebody toxic just all together.
I think we need to chill on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and be I don't know if I'm the first. I'm gonna say I don't think Saweetie and Quavo were toxic. I just think they had a toxic moment. And it was unfortunately caught on camera. God forbid anybody catch something I do on camera. I'll be embarrassed.
Then they gonna call you toxic. She did that. She just toxic.
I mean, I've had moments where I was showed my ass. So we've all been there, I guess. So I don't want to cancel Saweetie and Quavo just yet. I think we need to give it some time to develop and figure out what happened.
And they might get back together. How many people break up? I mean, not just celebrities. How many regular folk like me and you have a fallout with somebody? Y'all broke up this day, and then 2 days later we back together. We just had a moment. It's just a part of these relationships and stuff that you're going to go through. Yeah. They might get back together, and then all's gonna be forgiven, and we gonna be back on their tail. Exactly. Like, oh, they got back together. Everybody loves love. Everybody wants to make it work. Everybody is out there for somebody and to have somebody. Of course. Pick your person, grow with them, and go through your shit with them and glow up at the end of the day.
And that's it. That's it. That's just what it is. So yeah, that's our ruling. That's our spiel on Quavo and Saweetie. Hopefully everything works out. So like I said, by the time this airs, my birthday will be here. So hopefully we'll have some good little stories to tell. Next time we record. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. We appreciate everyone that's been watching the videos. A few little comments that we have. I'm so happy and appreciative. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow us on Instagram too. Jaded_Kiss01.
I'm the Pretty Hustler. DA Pretty Hustler.
Okay. Thanks, guys. See you next week. Bye.